Hello and welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns. It's been a little while, hasn't it? So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in to my little podcast. My name is Grace. If it's the first time you're tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's lovely to have you. If you've been here a while, I love you an awful lot. And James has left his computer on loud, which is going to be blinking in all day. Super duper. It's fine. He's gone for a walk, and I'm slotting in 20 minutes of chats with you because I accidentally deleted a clip there. So you're going to get a clip of me after working on some projects, and then it's going to go to past Grace. But it's all going to make sense in the end. It'll be fine. So I wanted to talk to you because basically I haven't really chatted to you in a while, and I just want to say first off, thank you so much to all the support that I've been getting on Instagram when I'm having my slightly small, tiny little breakdowns. I really appreciate the people reaching out and supporting me. I know everybody is having a really tough time. I work in a hospital. I am a frontline healthcare worker. When I'm not doing the podcast or knitting or reading all these books, I actually have filmed a separate video inspired by Stitch in the High Notes video about the books that I've been reading over the last month. So if you are interested, tune into that video as well. Little Miss Toast has come to say hello. Oh, she comes and then she doesn't want to be touched. But then why do you come? Why do you come over? Oh, look how giant she is and aggressive. Now, so let's talk a little bit about what I've been knitting the last couple of weeks. So I have actually finished my Winterfell cardigan, which I think means that I should really rewatch the Game of Thrones series, don't you? I mean, I know the last season hurt everybody very strongly, but the first few were very good. So this is the Winterfell cardigan sweater by Catherine Schneider, I think. And it is knit out of NYX yarn, Outlaw yarns, in the NYX base. And this is the Prospering colorway. And the light is kind of graying it out a bit, but this is quite close to it. And I'm wearing the Slow Wardrobe dress underneath, which, you know, turns me into pretty much a siren of the sea, which I'm fine with as well. But I love these V-shaped details. And I finally finished off my buttons. I got all the buttons from Textile Garden, and I also got this really, really beautiful little ribbon with kind of winter themed animals. There's snowy trees and little rabbits and deers and hedgehogs. And I think it's really, really beautiful. So I literally have been wearing this non-stop. It's incredible. The one thing I have noticed, so this is a silk, it's a silk and wool blend. I think it has something else in there as well. I can't remember though. But I am noticing that I'm getting a kind of a silvery sheen. I'm not sure, the sun might blind it. But if I bring you up close, you might be able to see it. I'm getting a bit of a silvery sheen here, and I think it's the silk working its way out onto the surface. So I'm thinking I might need to put little elbow patches or something on the elbows. But I've literally been wearing this non-stop. It's a little bit bobbly, but it is absolutely beautiful. I do wear a long sleeve top underneath because I find my arms are especially the elbow crease is the most itchy part of my body. So I do like to wear like a nice light long sleeve top underneath. But yeah, so I'm loving it. Do you see the way I've been wearing it now for about 2 weeks straight? And it's just bagging a little bit. So elbow patches, I think, is the only way to go. I'm not sure if I want to buy them or maybe make them out of some of my woven fabric. I think my woven fabric would be really awesome to make some elbow patches out of. I think that's a really good idea, actually. I might think about that. Yeah, do you know what I'm actually really proud of with this cardigan? Is that I didn't skimp on the yarn and I made a larger size. So I made a bigger size. Beans, excuse me, I'm trying to film a podcast. Could you shush for like 20 minutes? Hey, he's not gonna shush. But so I was really proud that I made a larger size, because normally I'm a little bit of a cheapskate with yarn. Now yarn, you know, especially kind of luxury yarn, which this is now. This is a, you know, it's a silk, and I can't remember the actual color base. Oops. You know, so anything that basically costs about 20 euro per skein is, you know, 18 to 20 euro per skein is a luxury yarn, obviously. And this one took about, I don't think this, because it was mill spun, so it wasn't hand dyed, so it was cheaper than that. But I did buy it in Australia, and the prices over there are going to be a little bit more pricey, but this is a New Zealand yarn. Anyway, all down to say that normally I will buy less yarn and make a smaller size than I actually need. And I think I've been selling myself short there, because yeah, I mean, it does mean that I knit a little bit less, and it does also mean that, you know, I can get a garment out of like 3 skeins of fingering weight, or maybe 7 skeins of DK. But because I got 8, maybe I got 9 in this, and I don't know how much I actually used. I think this is the only one I had. This is the last one I have left, and you know, so I actually think I'm so comfortable in this. Like, it fits me. It's nice and cozy. It's oversized. I kept knitting till the end of my actual arm. Normally I stop about here because I'm lazy, you know, and I think I was doing myself a little bit of an injustice, a little bit. Well, not an injustice, but I was just making things a little bit too small for the sake of saving some money on yarn. So because I actually have so much yarn, too much yarn, you know, I'm going to use the yarn that I have. It's also a bit tricky as well, because I have so many of these 3 skein projects, like 3 skeins for sweater projects, that I'm not sure, because a lot of them are hand dyed, I will have trouble getting the yarn again a lot of the time. So that can be a little bit frustrating. But when you're looking at something like a pattern, say the pavement sweater, which has a very loose gauge, I think you can get away with that. So I'm going to be looking into that. I'm probably going to be turning those into, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know, but it's just some thoughts I was having there while I was knitting this. Is yes, it took a long time. Yes, it was more knitting, but it's the most comfortable thing I've ever made. Ever. I love it. And it was like a color that I just loved, and everything just came together with this pattern, and I'm just delighted with it. So hooray. So that's what I'm wearing. Real proud of it. And I have been living in this outfit actually, and everything around me at the moment is based on pure comfort. I just want comfort. I want easy knitting, easy reading. I want life to be easy because work is really hard. So that's what I am working on. So I wanted to show you one of my easy, very satisfying, easy projects that I'm happy to talk about. It's in my Cottage Number 9 bag by Terry. So that's my Cottage Number 9. She's on Etsy, and she is a limerick maker. She's an incredible seamstress with her wraparound bags. And then you get your little, oh, I love them. I love it so much. So inside here, I am working on a pattern inspired by the Habitation throw by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. It's a really simple blanket style throw that I saw stitching the high notes, our Opera Joanna. She doesn't go by Opera Jo anymore, it's all Stitching the High Notes. I saw her working on, and she's also started another one, and it just looks really satisfying. So I just kind of started knitting. Now it's not exactly written from the, I haven't got the pattern, I'm just kind of working on what I was looking at. And I just decided to do a corner to corner square with 2 sets of Sweet Georgia minis, or party of 5 kits. So one of them had all the blues and one of them had a blues to purple. So I have come up halfway. I am ready to start the second set. And this is where I am at the moment. This, I mean, is my jam. It's my jam. I love it so much. It's garter stitch with a few rows of eyelets in between. I don't know. I'm kind of, as you can see, I'm not very regular. There's a big fat stripe there. It's fine. But I am in love with the fading as well. I am absolutely. So that is actually the back of the garter stitch, and then this is the front. So you can see that the front is a lot more stripy than the back, and that's because when you're knitting garter stitch, you're when you're switching and you're fading out, I'm trying to keep all of the ends at one side, because then you can keep knitting in garters. You just keep knitting. So say if you were to kind of start and stop on either side, you could get things like, stripes of stockinette and stuff. And I just find it the easiest to do this. So you'd knit one color over, one color back, and then you'd switch on the edge and over and over and over. So on the front side, you get these kind of stripes, like quite obvious stripes. But if you turn it over onto the back, those actually blend into the bumps so much easier. And it's just the nature of garter stitch fabric. The back blends and the front stripes. So this is I don't even know how much, maybe 120 grams of yarn. I think they're 20 grams each, those little skeins. And this is my square. So, well, half of my square. So what I'm planning on doing is decreasing now on the other side. And these are the colors I'm going to be using for that. Now, Sweet Georgia, party of 5 sets. Can I remember all the names of the yarns? No, I cannot. I'll link them down below and you can see what they are. So that's going to be the joining one, then that one, then purple, then the lightest purple. So they'll fade in. So this kind of light purple is going to need a bit more work to blend it in. So that's going to be the other side of the square. But if you have a look at it, these 2 kits are only going to make like a baby blanket. And I mean, babies are very cute, but this yarn is super precious. It's Tough Love Sock. It came as part of my Sweet Georgia Ambassador package, and I love it, and I don't want to have a baby throwing up over it. So what I'm going to do is I want to make that fade square into the center of a hap, and then I'm going to use, again, I was going to use this for a sweater, but I only had 3 of them. But what I'm kind of thinking of doing is using this beautiful same base Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock in the evening colorway. And I was going to knit around the edges with like a feather and fan, although to be honest it'll probably be something easy again, and I'll just do garter stitch around and around and around and just increase on the edges every 2 rows. I'll increase by every two rows. I'll increase at the corner by 2, so 2 by 4 is 8, so I'll increase 8 stitches every 2 rounds, which should make a square. Should. It's just started to rain, so James is on his way back, so he'll hear him coming in, but that's all right. So that is basically the only project that I'm working on at the moment. Really and honestly, it is the only thing that I've been working on. So what I have also been working on I have been working with my incredible team of testers for this beautiful pattern, which is mine. So my first pattern, and I am watching people. If you want to see one of the other patterns, the Woolly Wolverine has her podcast is, I haven't actually watched it, I need to watch it. So she's knitting hers in kind of mauves and pinks and burgundies. Oh, beautiful. There's also Shanti D. She has a podcast as well, and she's knitting hers in like brighter colors. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll link those podcasts down below, and you can see how they're getting on. It's absolutely lovely. This should be out. I'm aiming for a release date of April or May, depending on everything, basically. So keep an eye on this. I blocked this. I washed and blocked it since I last saw you, I think. Beans was extremely helpful with the blocking process. So helpful. Wasn't he helpful? So helpful. It's because it's John Arvin and he's just got really excellent taste in yarn. So yeah, these are my little, oh, it's so soft. It is incredibly soft, and all the stitches kind of lay down really flat after blocking. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm just really annoyed again that I knit this a smaller size, but I just needed to get it done to write it out to make sense of it. I 100% will not be knitting a sweater twice in the future to write it down. I think I can do it now. I just want to also massively call out my incredibly talented, patient and wonderful tech editor, Vanawillemiel. Absolutely incredible. She did so much work for this because I don't know what I'm doing. Now I do, I think. Not really. But very, very, very lovely working with her. So thank you so much, my love. You're beautiful. Oh, I also have another thank you. This is from Debbie. Debbie sent me a package. A beautiful package. So I got a DM on Instagram out of the blue, and I normally check them. I'm trying to keep up with them as much as possible. And she said, "Oh, Grace, I kind of made you something." And I was like, "What?" "Oh, I made you something. Our first pandemic 2020. It's a Christmas decoration, James and Grace." Oh my god, it's so cute. And then she didn't just make me that one. She made beans and toast, and the actual decals are the outlines of Mr. Beans, that's his fat arse, and little Miss Toast, who looks like she's about to run away, which she always is. And on the back it says, "Home is where the cat is." I need to put a little thing, a divider, so you can see that. Like there's a little divider you can put a picture through, or something. You can put like sparkly bits or whatever. Oh, full of white yarn. Wouldn't that be lovely, actually? That would be really cute. Does this unscrew? Anyway, I'm not going to do it right now, but thank you so much, Debbie. She gave me beautiful stitch markers as well. These stitch markers are so pretty. These ones. It's all cat related, which I'm here for, obviously. These, and then this one is tangled in some yarns, which is very appropriate. Look at this one, little paw. Look at those soft pink beans. This is good stuff. She gave me some beautiful yarn as well. That's very nifty to find your end. I think this is from Green Elephant Yarn, she said. So I think I'm going to put that into my weaving project, which I'll talk about later. And she also gave me so many little packets of Bird and Blend tea. This is Mohiti, New House Blend. Ooh, an Earl Grey Assam. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I love Assam. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And these like little packages, and she's written what type of tea is on it. Which one is this? Mince pie. Oh my god. It is not too late for mince pie. I know it's the end of January, but I love mince pies. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. Oh my God. The day after Christmas, I went in, I was working, I was working the Monday after Christmas, Christmas was Friday anyway. I was working on Monday, went into the petrol station, Easter eggs were out. I was like, I strongly dislike that. Although Cadbury's cream eggs. So that is, now I'm just wondering, have I mentioned everything that I was talking about? Yeah, so those are the bits that I've been knitting. I'm going to pop in a little ad break here. Thank you so much for watching the ad breaks, by the way. It really helps just funding the podcast and stuff. I'm hoping to buy a new laptop because this laptop is about 10 years old now. No, maybe 8 years old. I bought it with my first ever real life adult paycheck, and it is full to the brim, and I need to get a new laptop. So I kind of want to do a little bit better editing, and just to get more, just so not to lose everything all the time, because if I had a laptop with more space, I would have been able to recover that video. Also, it helps with the administration fees and the and like microphones and things that I need to get. So thank you so much for watching the ads. If you do want to, please feel free. If you don't, just skip them. It's fine. Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my weaving now. My weaving, which I definitely did not finish for Advent. I've got quite a lot done down here. Sorry about that, earthquake. And there's not much left to go up here on the top, on the warp. You know, it's a lot thinner than the bottom, so that's always good. Means I'm more than halfway there. I'm currently weaving with these like solid colors at the moment. I'm quite liking those, but I really do like the kind of subtlety of the other colors as they were going. I actually can't show you right now because it's all tied up in this warp. But once I cut it off, once I'm finished, I'm going to cut it off. The warp is about 5 meters. So I'll probably get about 4.5 meters of fabric out of it. And I'm going to cut them into like strips, like 3 strips probably, and then sew the pieces together. So I'll probably get 14, maybe 13 inches wide stripes. So 13 by 3 is 39 inches wide. Sure, that's a nice little blanket. And what's 4.5 divided by 3? Sure, look, we'll get a meter and a bit. You know, so I know I'm mixing my inches and centimeters there, but it's how my brain works currently. Well, in Ireland, we switched to metric. Like, I don't know, we still kind of measure certain things in inches and certain things. I don't know. I like to call this my 16 inch, not my 40 centimeter. I can't work this in, I think, do you know what it is? Inches, I'm okay with small distances. Whereas if it goes to longer than, I don't think I can transfer from inches to feet. And then from, you know, I think that's what I can't do. I can understand, I always forget whether it's 12 or 13 inches, and I'm not going to remember it no matter how many times you comment down in the post underneath. I'm just not going to remember. I have a mental block about that. So once it gets bigger than a foot, once it gets like to an unmanageable number, then I switch to meters because it's easier for me to, in my head. That's probably right. So the width is in inches and then the length is in meters. Screw everybody over, brain. Thank you. So I'm just going to leave you now to past Grace, and she's going to talk a little bit more about my weaving and then a little bit about my spinning and our plans. Over to you, past Grace. I'm hopefully going to weave this. It's just a really simple, again, I was doing quite kind of complicated stuff at the start, and then I simplified because life needs to be simple right now. That's fine. I also, because I was having a lot of trouble with this warp, this section and this section have a linen blend. Now, either, to be honest, in my opinion, you either go 100% linen or you go home. None of this blend nonsense in a warp. Does not work, don't do it. If you do end up doing it, this is your friend. Hairspray. Any hairspray will do. You spray it on, you comb back and forth. Helps a little bit. Not a lot, but it's better than without, if you know what I mean. And it's a pretty easy fix. It's pretty easy to have it done. So I have got into a rhythm with this. I'm really close to being done. But next time it's going to be wool on wool. I want things to be easy. And I really want to do like a nice, I'm going to do a commercial warp with 100% wool. It's just easier. Maybe superwash because it doesn't stick. And you'll get a nice open shed. That means when you pull up or down, the, what's in there now? The shed is going to open out. It's not doing it at the moment because everything's a bit tight for storage. Well, I've tightened it up to show you. It wasn't very loose earlier. So I need to readjust my tension and stuff and just make sure that everything's still okay, which I think it is. I can't wait to get this off the loom. So the idea of this is it's about 4.5 meters of warp wound on real tight on here. And I'm going to open it out and maybe cut it in half or maybe cut it in 3 and then sew them all together, sew the strips together to make a blanket, to make another cozy blanket. I don't know if I should wash it before I sew it. I probably should, shouldn't I? Yeah. Oh, what if it gets ruined? This is when I really should plan. And you really shouldn't have different fibers in your warp because these will shrink at different rates. What was I thinking? I was not thinking. Now we know. But sure, look, it'll be fine. Look, who washes blankets? Everybody now, COVID happens. Before, nobody washed a blanket. And if you did, well, you're just better than me. So. Okay, so what else was I going to talk to you about? I have a couple of things coming up actually. Some very beautiful, generous, lovely friends of mine invited me to take part in an along this year. So Mina Phillip from the Knitting Expat and Hey Brownberry, Mars from Hey Brownberry, Marcelin Smith, because I gave Mina her full name. And so Mina contacted me and she said, or us anyway, and she said, listen, do you remember the spin and make along that we held there in 2019? And I was like, oh my God, that was 2019. That was a year ago. Oh my God. I still haven't finished my project. But she was saying I'd love to do something again for 2021. And I was like, yes. So we've been having chats and we've been having little chatteroos. And we're definitely doing it. We're definitely doing it. And I might actually finish my spin and make along project from 2019. We're just sitting here in this, another one of Terry's My Cottage Number 9 bags. So what is the idea of the spin and make along? Back in 2019 anyway, it was basically you spun yarn and you made something with it, which is perfect. I thought, do you know what? I think we had 7 or 9 months to do it. I got this far. I got to the sleeves. Actually, I didn't even get to the sleeves. I picked these up in November when I was doing a tutorial on how to pick up sleeves 2 at a time. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish this. But we were chatting and we decided we were actually going to change the name. The name is going to, because we were just kind of chatting around, and I think I said, we were just kind of chatting and kind of coming up, brainstorming with ideas, and I was like, oh, from Fluff to Stuff. I think I'd seen it somewhere. And she's like, what there? And they were like, oh my God, I love that. So we have started an Instagram account called Fluff to Stuff 2021. And the hashtag is the same, Fluff to Stuff 2021. We've also got a Ravelry group. And we're also going to be doing monthly Zooms with special guests. I'm going to be the special guest for the first one, just to kind of kick things off. And a couple of people that we've asked to be special guests wanted to see exactly what it was going to be like. So I was like, I'll be the guinea pig. So if you want to come along and learn all about my spinning journey, where I started, where I came from, if you're new, because if you've been following a long time, you will have seen the ugly truth. So many bits of poop in fleeces. So many. Why do I keep doing it? Because I love it. Because I love it. So we've got the Instagram page set up. We've got the Ravelry page set up. There's going to be loads of information in the Ravelry page, and there's going to be loads of prizes too. Throughout the year, we're going to be pulling prizes 3 times, and there'll be a final prize draw at the end of the year. It starts on the 31st of January, and it runs until the end of November. And then, yeah, so what do you need to do? Spin something, or use hand spun. Not if you can't spin, use hand spun to make something. So the idea basically is to try and get us to use our hand spun. This beautiful hand spun has been sitting in my stash for at least 1.5 years, and it is so pretty, and I want to use it. I love it too, but I want to use it. It's a crime. It's a crime to have it sitting there looking at me. I made you out of fluff. I need to continue that process. So the idea is to finish out the process, make something intentional, use up your yarn, use up stuff. So Mina has a huge amount of patterns that are suitable for hand spun. She's made up these kind of ratio, like the whole pattern that I don't know how she's done it. It's some sort of technical magic. She's a technical genius. So basically you can spin your own, you can buy hand spun and use hand spun. Just to kind of, it's kind of just to promote spinning and to promote using hand spun, because it's a weird thing if you're not used to it. If you're used to commercial yarn, the hand spun will probably throw you off a little bit when it comes to gauge, when it comes to kind of the fabric looking flat. Do you know, it's a different dimension, and it adds a little extra it's an extra step down the rabbit hole of knitting. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna knit. When you start, you're knitting with whatever you can find, in the Centre Isle of Lidl or wherever, or in a kit, like, with those lovely Wool in the Gang kits. It's all laid out for you, and you knit away, and everything's easy peasy. And then you start going down into, oh, this yarn is interesting. Oh, this is it. And you kind of think, oh, this is different, and then you start learning what type of yarn is good for what. So silk might be good for lace, or wool is good for color work, or and you're like, oh, okay. And this hand spun then moves you on down the line, deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you end up owning 10 sheep and an alpaca in the middle of a forest, and you're hand dyeing everything with natural dyes that you forage yourself, and then you become a dryad, and that's the end point, I think. So yeah, that's my goal. Anyway, I don't know, I'm kind of working on the waters part. I will become a tree spirit or a water sprite. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. That path hasn't been chosen for me yet. So join us on your path to becoming a dryad. Join us. If you're interested in spinning at all, if you're interested in learning how to spin, and this will be a great opportunity as well, because there's going to be loads of stuff going on. We're going to have loads of people on to chat about their first spins, how they weren't perfect when they started, because nobody is. So there'll be there's a huge amount. And what I really wanted to do, actually, what we really wanted to do was kind of keep up the momentum, because spinning and making something from, you know, some scratch is a long process, obviously. And keeping up the momentum is what I found hard in 2019. It was kind of tricky to kind of keep up that push through it. So, and it's also really interesting because when you're working with something that is developing a skill, you end up building a bit of a community, and sometimes you can end up with like mentor mentee kind of relationships within groups. You know, a kind of supportive environment where you can ask the stupid questions and people will answer. So that's what I would like to try and achieve, is to try and encourage people to try spinning and to try and use what they make as well. Because I know this is a finished object in itself, but to me, they're good for cuddling, but I would like a pair of gloves also, and a hat maybe. Do you know what's also after starting is Mars and Hey Brownberry and Earth Tones Girl have started a along called the Mitt Along. I don't know if it's Mitt Along 2020 or 2021, but mittens. These might be mittens. I think they have to be mittens. Yeah, that's it then. Easy, sorted. That's my first project. So Mitt Along started on the 15th of January, and I think it runs until the end of February. But mittens are quick. Oh, do you know what would be nice? Just to kind of kick off the smell with, or the Fluff to Stuff 2021 Cal with like an easy, quick project. Oh, I think that would catapult me. That would be great. So, and also actually at the end, on the 31st of January, it's also, I think Mina was saying it's the start of the 100 days challenge. So it's kind of to make a habit of 100 days. So if you wanted to, not to kind of finish off and use up all your stuff or whatever, or use up all your fluff, but maybe just get into the habit of spinning. So spinning 15 minutes a day from, I think that was the 1974 shepherdess, who started that trend as well. I think. I know that name might be totally wrong. And to be honest, I'm too tired to be going looking for it. But she's fab. I think it's the 1974. And you're on my phone, so I can't look it up. It's awesome. You know, so if you wanted to get into the habit of spinning 15 minutes a day, or just encourage a sort of a habit, then that might be a nice thing to do as well. So that is pretty much. Oh, I just wanted to show you a little bit. I've been spinning. This was before Christmas now. I haven't been spinning for a while, so I can't wait to start, to be honest, especially on the Zooms, because once I'm on the Zoom, you can spin away and suddenly your time is gone. I do like the idea of being intentional, but to be honest, I'm kind of not. So that's not my style, maybe. Or maybe I haven't got there yet. But at the moment, I'm spinning some Alpaca Supreme from John Arbin. I got it in a parcel. And I'm just playing around with these. And I'm kind of wondering, because I was going to do spin, half and half and then ply them together in a 2-ply. And then I got carried away because I was chatting with Mina and Mars on this. And I just spun the whole thing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I could ply it back on itself, but then... because the alpaca, I think it'll fuzz up a little bit, and maybe I want that. Anyway, this is not intentional spinning, but you know what? Any spinning at all is acceptable in the Fluff to Stuff 2021 challenge. It's not a challenge, it's a cal, it's an along. So, I think that's all I had to talk about. Let me just check. Yeah, that's it. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for all your comments and messages and everything about when I do put stuff up. I haven't really been around, but sure, look, you can't blame me. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Do you want to say hello to Beans? I think I'll wake him up. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, he's such a little sleepy boy. Oh, you're so sleepy. There he is. There's my little boy. He's not happy I woke him up, but he's very fluffy. I mean, what do you expect, sir? Outrageous. Outrageously fluffy. He's heavy. Look how... This is how big he is. He's a giant cat. He's not impressed. That's all right. He's huge. He's such a big kitten. Do you remember when he was tiny? Do you remember when he was so small? Do you remember? No. I'm gonna head on now. There you go. I messed up his fluff. He's very annoyed. Oh, now he's staring at me. It's for your biscuits. He's not impressed. I'm impressed with you, Mr. Beans. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you so much. I will be doing my book video next, so if you want to join in, do have a little look and see some of my book recommendations and not so recommendations.